welcome back to the laboratory. You seek another lesson in absolute supremacy, do you not? Today, I will not be teaching you how to build a machine of steel or unmake the world with the land. No, today I will teach you how to become a god. Behold, my vessel, Sephiroth, fabled soldier. He appears, unassuming, does he not? A mere creature, a tool. But do not be fooled by this fragile form. It is a cocoon. When he enters or attacks, I may sacrifice another creature to draw a card. A simple transaction. But the true mechanism lies in this text. Whenever another creature dies, target opponent loses 1 life, and you gain 1 life. A slow, beautiful bleed. But observe. If this is the 4th time this ability has resolved this turn, transform Sephiroth. 4 deaths in a single turn. That is the key. That is the catalyst for my ascension. When the condition is met, he is reborn. He becomes the one-winged angel, a magnificent 5/5 with flying. And his transformation is my final victory, for he grants me an emblem with supernova, an emblem that permanently mirrors his drain ability. From that moment on, every single death, for the rest of the game, will drain my rivals and fuel my immortality, with or without him on the field. To fuel my ascension, I require an altar, a place where my loyal followers can offer up their fleeting existence for my grand design. These are my free sacrifice outlets, the very heart of my machine. The insatiable carrion feeder grows larger with every morsel I provide, becoming a monstrous threat in its own right. The Viscera Seer offers me a glimpse into the future with every death, allowing me to scry and sculpt my draws to perfection, ensuring my victory is not just total, but elegant. And then there is Yahenni, undying partisan. It grows stronger with every one of their creatures that falls, and by feeding it one of my own, it becomes indestructible, an unkillable, ever-growing engine of despair. Their lives are merely the fuel. But why stop at mere power and knowledge? True genius transmutes flesh into something far more useful. Mana. With Ashnod's altar, every creature I sacrifice is converted into 2 colorless mana, allowing me to power my more ambitious projects. The Phyrexian Altar is even more exquisite, converting a single life into 1 mana of any color. The versatility is intoxicating. It allows for infinite possibilities, infinite loops of death and rebirth. The Warren Soul Trader offers a similar transaction, converting a creature and a single point of my own life into a treasure token. I will build my victory on a mountain of corpses and a treasury of gold. An engine requires a steady supply of fuel, my altar's hunger, and I am a generous master. I will provide them with an endless stream of willing sacrifices. My loyal servant Jadar provides me with a fresh zombie token at the end of my turn. A mindless drone with decayed. It is born only to attack and then die for my cause. Perfect. The Ophiomancer is a master of its craft, providing a 1/1 snake with death touch at the beginning of each upkeep. A perfect deterrent until it is needed on the altar. And for a truly endless supply, there is Bitter Blossom. For the trivial cost of 1 life per turn, it gifts me a 1/1 flying fairy. A beautiful, unending parade of victims marching willingly into the maw of my machine. But why create new fuel when the old fuel refuses to burn away? These are my undying legion, the core of my most exquisite combos. The pathetic Gravecrawler can be cast from my graveyard again, and again, and again, as long as I control another zombie. The ethereal Bloodghast returns from the grave with every single land drop. The Nether Trader can be paid for with a single black mana, to return from the grave whenever another of my creatures dies. And the brutish blood-soaked champion can be brought back for a pittance after I've attacked. They are not creatures. They are a perpetual motion machine of death and value. The key to triggering my commander's transformation in a single, glorious turn. Now for the symphony itself. Every death must have a purpose. Every life extinguished must be a note in my grand composition of their suffering. My blood artist and its less discerning cousin, the Zulaport Cutthroat, are my chief conductors. With every creature that dies, mine or theirs, they will drain life from my opponents and give it to me. It is a slow, agonizing bleed that they are utterly powerless to stop. And for the grand crescendo, there is the Meat Hook Massacre. It enters as a board wipe, clearing the stage of their pathetic actors. And then it remains, a legendary enchantment that echoes the effects of my artists, ensuring every death for the rest of the game is a tribute to my victory. Their demise is meaningless if it does not fuel my intellect. I must be rewarded for my artistry. The grim Haruspex understands this. Whenever one of my non-token creatures dies, it grants me a card. A simple, elegant transaction. The Midnight Reaper offers a similar deal, though it demands a single point of life as a sign of my commitment. A trivial price. And the Morbid Opportunist is a patient observer, rewarding me with a card for the first creature that dies each turn. My hand will always be full, my options always limitless. Power, knowledge, and now, wealth. The Pitiless Plunderer is a master of logistics, converting every one of my dying creatures into a treasure token. Mana from death. Beautiful. The Pawn of Ulamog provides a different kind of resource, creating an Eldrazi spawn token that can be sacrificed for colorless mana. And for a true demonstration of efficiency, there is Ayara, first of Lochthwain. She drains my opponents whenever a black creature enters, and she can sacrifice a black creature at any time to draw me a card. She is a sacrifice outlet and a payoff, all in one exquisite package. And now, I will show you the true heart of the machine, the grand architects of my victory. First, the master himself, Yawgmoth, Thran Physician. For the trivial cost of one life and one creature, he allows me to place a -1/-1 counter on any creature and draw a card. He is a sacrifice outlet, a removal engine, and a card draw engine, all in one. He is perfection, and his fortress, Bolas's Citadel. This legendary artifact allows me to play cards from the top of my library by paying life instead of mana. With my life total constantly refilled by my artists, I can storm through my entire deck in a single turn, assembling my victory with breathtaking speed and efficiency. This is not magic. This is inevitability. Why should I be the only one making sacrifices? My rivals must contribute to my grand design. The Plague Crafter and the Fleshbag Marauder are my envoys of despair. When they enter the battlefield, every player must sacrifice a creature. Of course, I'm prepared for this. I will sacrifice a token, or a creature that desires to be in the graveyard. They, on the other hand, will be forced to sacrifice their most precious commander, their most valuable engine piece. The accursed Marauder is even more specific, demanding a non-token creature. Their choices are meaningless. Their creatures will die, and I will profit. When the time for subtlety has passed, I will deliver the final crushing blow. My agent from the underworld, the Grey Merchant of Asphodel, will arrive. When he enters, he will drain each of my opponents for an amount of life equal to my devotion to black, a number that will be, shall we say, significant. It is a massive game-ending swing that will leave them gasping. And to ensure the cycle continues, the Body Launderer connives with every death, growing larger, and when it finally falls, it reanimates another powerful creature from my graveyard. The end of one threat is merely the beginning of the next. Speed is the hallmark of a superior intellect. I will not wait for my mana to accumulate naturally. A dark ritual will provide me with a sudden, explosive burst of black mana, allowing me to deploy my key engines far ahead of schedule. Culling the weak is even more to my taste, sacrificing a creature to generate 4 black mana. A beautiful transaction. And for sustained efficiency, the Jet Medallion will reduce the cost of every black spell I cast, ensuring that my grand design unfolds with relentless, unstoppable speed. Even the very ground I tread upon is a weapon. With Urborg, Tomb of Yawgmoth, every land on the battlefield becomes a swamp, perfecting my mana. This, in turn, powers the legendary Cabal coffers, a land that can tap to produce an obscene amount of black mana, limited only by the number of swamps I control. And should I find myself in need of a sacrifice, and my other altars are unavailable, the high market provides a convenient, land-based solution. Every piece of my empire works in perfect, deadly harmony. So you see, the formula is simple, yet elegant. I will assemble my congregation of the damned. I will erect my altars of ambition. I will conduct my symphony of suffering. Every creature that lives, every creature that dies, will serve only to fuel my ascension. Your life totals are a resource. Your creatures are a liability. Your hope is an illusion. I am not merely playing the game. I am the architect of its conclusion, and my victory